We have some major new developments in the scandal around Cabinet Minister Bridget McKenzie. My colleague, Sky News political editor Andrew Clennell, has spoken to a whistleblower with key details on the program and how it was overseen. Andrew, great to see you. First of all, let's go straight to the heart of this. You've got some explosive revelations in the McKenzie RORTS scandal. You've spoken to a former staff member and apparently there were alarm bells ringing internally well before this all exploded publicly.
Yes, so I've spoken to a former member of Bridget McKenzie's staff who has told me that in late 2018 they went to see Bridget McKenzie's then Chief of Staff to warn about major concerns this staffer had with the way the program was being administered and the fact that a scandal could occur out of it, that the minister was exposed by the methodology with which the grants were being handed out. I'm also told by this former staffer that they were not the only person to raise these concerns with the minister's Chief of Staff, but the minister's Chief of Staff replied to the staffer, "We have to do what the minister wants." That was the response, Kieran.
And you've got some detail as well about this suggestion that there was some reverse pork barrelling, Andrew, but this, according to the individual that you spoke to, was nothing other than an attempt to cover themselves.
That's right, Kieran. So essentially the phrase used to me by this former staffer is that Labor were given grants in this program to cover our arses. Essentially, Bridget McKenzie's made a point of the fact that the departmental recommendations were for 24% of Labor electorates, and it ended up being 36% of the grants went to Labor electorates. But it's been put to me that it was after the warning from this staffer and other staffers to the then Chief of Staff that that profile was lifted in an attempt to make it appear like the grants program was being administered in an appropriate way. Let's hear what Bridget McKenzie said about reverse pork barrelling the other week.
Well, if anything, Tim, there's a case of reverse pork barrelling going on. So if you look at the intervention that my decisions as Minister made to the projects that were actually delivered on, originally there was something like 26% of those projects recommended were heading into Labor Party electorates. The reality is, thanks to my decision-making as Minister, 34% of the projects delivered went into Labor Party electorates.